Hello, Photoshop Senior Edition folks. Today we're going to do some cloud work, and if you've been in my classes before, you probably remember us making clouds before, but this is a different technique than I've ever used before. I've used brushes to do clouds, but never these particular brushes, which are cloud brushes, as a matter of fact. What I'm going to start out doing is, and this, by the way, is a photograph from down Gulf Shores of Fort Morgan. Obviously not a lot going on here. It was just to document the fort. But you notice the clouds are just almost non-existent. It's just some wisps up there, and that's about it. They had a lot of this taped off, roped off for various reasons, I guess. So I couldn't really get the photographs that I wanted to get. We weren't supposed to get up there too close. And I wanted to get a shot encompassing more of the fort wall if I could. So anyway, boring cloud-wise. So I'm going to click down here on the new layer icon. Just create a blank layer. I'm going to go up to the brush tool, or you can just press the letter B. And then go up here to the actual brushes, and you'll notice I have a lot of brushes on my computer. Now, there are a few that aren't in your Photoshop software, but most of these brushes are in your software. So if you go up to the little gear up here at the top and click on it, all of these brushes are there, and they're going actually off the screen. If I move the recording area down a little bit here, we'll see if we can't accommodate you seeing more of these brushes. There you go. Now you can see all of them that are there. Now I don't know which ones, these particular cloud brushes, there's a 800 and a 173. I don't know which one of these brushes that's in. It could be the natural brushes, or it could be just any one of these. I just don't know. And unfortunately, there's not a load all in this particular feature. It would be nice, but anyway, you can load those brushes up however you want. Let me move the recording area back up. And like I said, right here is the brush that's 800. If I click on it, it's a pretty good size brush. I'm going to click up here in the title bar. And you see by default, that's the size of it. We don't have that kind of space up here to make the clouds that big. You see how big that would be. Control Z that. So I'm going to left bracket key, and just to remind you, the bracket keys will make the brush larger and smaller. They're located up by the letter P on the keyboard. And here's the right bracket, and here's the left bracket. So I can paint like this, and then I'll go back the other way, and I'll go again this way, and keep going until we have some realistic looking clouds. and we can do it over here, just clicking and dragging until we have something that we like. Now this looks a little goofy having these two puffy clouds here, but the point was to show you how to build this up, and we can make it go out in a stream if we want to. We just keep clicking and so forth. Now we can't have a lot of control over the clouds this way, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Since this is all on its own layer, I can get rid of these clouds in one stroke. If I do a Control A, which selects everything there, make sure I'm on the layer that the clouds are on, and just hit backspace, it's all gone. So let's just say I want more control over my clouds. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and I'm going to paint in just a little bit We'll say about that much. I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to paint some more. And I'm going to create another layer and add some more, kind of around the fringes a little bit. Now, I'm going to bring these layers out where you can see all of the layers. So we've got 1, 2, 3 here. Now, what I want to do, if you look up in the clouds, a lot of times there's some grayish areas and so forth in the clouds, or they look a little dirtier than other clouds and so forth. What I'm going to do is click on this layer of the clouds, which counts for that, and I'm going to click on the move this up a little bit. I'm going to click on the FX tool, and I'm going to go down to drop shadow. You can't see it on the screen, but it's on drop shadow. And if I drag that around, you can see there's the drop shadow. Now here are the numbers. Now the distance is ridiculous. We want it in there pretty close on all of these. Let's just make that like a 3, a 3, and a 3. Okay? And then we can bring up the multiply if we want to. See how much darker it makes the clouds. And then I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to go over to this FX, right click on it, and go to Copy Layer Style. Then I can go up to the next layer of clouds, right click, and say Paste Layer Style. So now both of these have a little bit of drop shadow in it. I'm going to add one more layer on top, and again click a little bit, and as you go, notice the opacity is just 10%. If you start out with 100%, your clouds are going to look terrible almost immediately. So we're going to say that's fine, and then I'm going to right click over here again and say Paste Layer Style. So that darkens it down a little bit and creates just a little more depth. If we want to, we can go down to this first one, double click it, and we can go to the drop shadow and crank it up a little higher if we want to, and do the same thing on all of those till we get just the look that we want. Now that kind of muddied it up a little too much, but we're going to do something here. These are all clouds, right? So let's just go down. This one's selected. Let's go down to this last cloud layer and hold down the Shift key and click one time with the left mouse button. And then we're going to click on the little icon down here for folder. And that just pops them all into this group one, and I'll double click on that and say left clouds. Actually it's cloud, so we'll click right there. So if I turn that off and on, it turns off all of those layers that are inside. Okay, now let's do the same thing. Let's create a new layer, and we're going to put clouds over here on the other side. I'm going to move the layers palette out of the way for a few minutes, and I'm just going to make this one a little differently shaped, and I'll let go of the mouse, and then I'm going to paint back this direction. Now I'm going to let go of the mouse and come back again this direction, and again this way. Alright, so here's layer 1. I didn't want that to be right there. Now let's do another layer, and I'll move that back out of the way. So let's just build on top of what we've already got, and that's nice. So let's click on the new layer icon once again. Move this out of the way, and again we'll paint. Now again, we can go in and click over here, right click, and paste layer style from the other layer style that we have already used. And go up to the next one, same thing. And if you watch as I turn each one of these on, you'll see the clouds get a little bit different look to them. So now we have another set of clouds, and we can make these whiter too with one more layer. So let me bring that up here, and let's move that out of the way again. And again, I'm going to right click over here and paste layer style. So we've got a little bit more of an interesting cloud here, and we certainly can have more than just these two, or we could just have the one. It's totally up to us. Again, I'm going to go down here to the last one, or the first one that we did on this group, and shift click to select all four of them, and then hit the little icon for the new group and double click in there, right cloud. Now we can still work on these however we want. I mean, we can edit them, we can turn the drop shadows up and down and all that stuff. Another thing that we can do, let's say that we want this left cloud to be resized. I'm going to turn off the marching ants real quick so that's not confusing. I'm going to do a Control T, and because all of these layers are inside this folder, we can click and drag this, and I'm holding down the Control key, which allows us to distort however we want to. So if we want to change the shape of that cloud, double click it, and it's all changed because we have control over all four of those layers that are in there. Okay? But you'll also notice that when we did that, it softened that out a lot. It really blurred everything together. So I'm going to go up to my history and just kind of back off on that and bring it back to where it was. So hopefully that technique will help you to be able to combine these all into their own individual group. You can put these in your own group and name them whatever you want, and you'll have control over all your layers by putting them in here like this. You can move them anywhere you want. This is a little addendum. I finished up the video and I thought, hey, why not show you how to take this whole set of clouds, all the stuff that's in here, and put it in another image. You know, why not? If we've got other images that need clouds, we can make it look a little bit different. I've got this image up that we've used many times before. I'm just going to click and hold that. I'm just going to bring it up and put it right on that other image name, drag it down, and let it go. Now obviously it's too big, but you see we've got the entire folder right here. So we can move that cloud however we want to. So let's do a Control T, and let's flip this around, number one, and let's resize it. Shift keys down, and we'll just put that over in here, let's say. Double click it, and voila, we have a brand new cloud in another image. So if we wanted to, we could do a Control J of that one and bring it over. Let's flip it around. So let's do a Control T. And we can just move our mouse inside that box, right click and go to flip horizontal. Now let's make the shape different. We don't want twin clouds, so let's make it smaller. Number one, hold down the control key or command key on a Mac, and we'll just slightly move it in like so. Double click it, and we need to get rid of that little telltale. We can either scooch it off to the side, or we could put a little eraser number on there if we want to. Let's actually, then we got to go in here to the whole thing and erase one by one, because there's layers of that cloud. So let's turn on a brush, and let's get a normal brush, and we can go in here and put a mask on this, and we can paint right on that mask with black. So we got to switch that to black, and let's raise this a little bit. Let's go up to maybe around 50 or 60%, and we can just paint a little bit of that. Let's make this brush a little bit smaller, and there we go. And now we can move this. I didn't mean to put crop on. We can move this over if we want to, like so. So lots of nice benefits into bringing these group folders over, which brings lots of layers with it at the same time. Okay, so hopefully that little addendum helps you as well. Bye for now.